This is my prototype and playtesting assignment part 2, and this is my video explanation. So essentially, I made the game very simple because I have very minimal experience with board games, especially in my teenage years. So, and all the ones I play were like Candyland, and very simple snakes and ladders, so just dice roll, and you just try to move forward. I originally wanted it more complex, but given my circumstances at this time, as well as my limited knowledge of the subject, I decided to keep it simpler. So essentially, I just did a simple race game. So how this works is you start here, and then what you need to do is from here, both players will start at this bed point, and then once you're at the starting point, each player would you don't know. It's not really a method I added to decide who goes first, but the players among themselves will decide who goes first. Maybe rolling a die, whichever die goes higher, whichever player with the higher number goes first, and then they move around the board. Once if they hit the asteroid shower points on the board, they must roll the dice. The player who hit it first. So once you land on that space, your turn does not end if it's an asteroid shower space on the board. The player must then, after landing on that space, roll the die again, and it's still their turn when they hit that spot. If it's a 6, they avoid it and they stay, and then they just go to the next spot on the board. If it's anything other than a 6, then they have to go back the number of spaces and that same number of spaces. And you just keep going in that process. There's 2 asteroid showers in the map. Players will keep moving around the board with the dice roll. The one will take you 1 space, etc., etc. It's a singular die, so each player isn't a double die that made the game go too fast. So once you're at this point, you hit Mars. And then I noticed I made this a little confusing, but you're not. It's when it says finish it, that's actually when you're finished. This is Mars right here. Once you are at Mars, then this is the alternate route back to Earth, which will take you there. So essentially, after you hit Mars, you roll. You continue there. There's no asteroid showers in this path. You just keep rolling the dice and you keep going forward depending on the number you roll. And then first player to make it to finish wins. That's essentially all there is to it. The mechanics for the game are very simple. I understand, and I'm sorry I couldn't give physical representation of this. I was not able to print it at this time, the board. But that's essentially how the game works. If I understand that I could have made it more complex, but I really just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I did read all the materials you provided, Dr. Javidi, so I understand how I would go about making a more complex game. I just didn't. At the time, it was very hard for me to go about doing it that way, so I apologize. But that is essentially this very simple race game I made.